Country. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, so this is DJ Roddy. I am Fabrication Welding. Right? Stand for John. Greener Renaissance Party. So I decided to do a little live this morning on YouTube. You check. I want to first of all approach all you not as a DJ, not as a welder. You check, as a politician right now. You understand? Green Renaissance Party is my pet project, you understand, which I have in a pipeline, building, nurturing. Because as a Grenadian citizen, all these years, right, I living in Grenada, and as a tradesman, I'm a freelance welder. I have a level 2 in welding. Well, apparently I didn't have a level 1 because, Grenada is a place here is full of bureaucracy. When I went to do the level 1 in time CC, Ivan came, mash up the school. Sorry for the noise. I live by the highway, right? St. John Street, actually. So when I went to do the level 1, thanks to my brother, Beresford helped me to and then the time CC I was like 24 years of age at the time, and yeah, Ivan came, and that was in 2004. Ivan came and mash up the MCC, and boy, thank God I could have weld already. I learned to weld from the Rampasad and Co. At the Bruce Bain project, Green Lake project. Yeah, I work on the two first Caterpillar generators with the Rampasad. You know what I mean? And from since then, thanks to Mr. Gary Horrell and the good team of the Rampasad and Co., Mr. Budram, Bipan Lalal, Mr. Samlal Rajin, Mr. Daniel Prout, to all these good people, right, who taught me how to be a professional and a good welderman, a good cutter and a welderman, oxyfuel cutter and welderman, and fabricator, because apparently I got a letter, a recommendation letter from the company, and for when I had to go for work outside, that telling workshop and workplace I am a junior fabricator welder. Yeah, right. But Ivan came so unexpectedly and mash up everything. I didn't preserve documents. I didn't check. I got watch. Ivan come so unexpectedly. I got caught cooking in the kitchen. The food and all was mash up. So I salvage what I salvage, and I pick up the pieces and move on. So I am 45 years of age. I'm born the 16th of February, 1980. I am the last child of Augustus Thomas John. Right? I was doing some research on Daddy the other day with right now I'm using Gemini, and Gemini was telling me that Daddy had a first passport, because the passport what I have is a renewed passport. So when my brother died, Noel John, in the United States, my big brother, right? Bless his family and his children. Big brother, I wish I could have talked to you before you passed away. That was my dream, to talk to you before you passed away. So when my big brother died, Noel John, who was actually a barrister at law, you understand? And at his funeral, right, I confirmed Daddy's first name and everything, because they spoke about his father, being that he's the son of Augustus Thomas John and his mother Alfreda something. So Daddy had a first passport. So whoever do Daddy that, take his passport, the first passport, and destroy it, and cut out the passport picture from the second passport. These people are wicked, evil people. Right? Daddy died here in Grenada in 1981 and buried at Top Cemetery. I was his last child. I was a year and 8 months when my pop passed away. Right? So that's just a little history about me. So I'm still yet, the passport say born 1905, but I'm still yet to find the first passport which he had, right? Right. Which was in his full name, Augustus Thomas John, right? So this whole morning live broadcast under Grenada Renaissance Party, right? The reason why I decide to do this is because I realize that these people don't want to give Jackie jacket. Yeah, just like how America don't want to give Russia the credit for them capturing Germany, Berlin, and bringing Hitler to justice. America was late, right? So, and not only that too, you understand? I realize Grenadian people don't really pay attention to history. They love more, they love more make believe. I into fiction and sci-fi fiction. Back in the days, my favorite books in primary school was Hardy Boys and certain thing. Even in Form 1, I reading boy novels. Yeah, so I'm saying I love reading. And I always regret that I should have taken the book Halo when the library was open, because Halo is a novel. The book Halo. Why I'm so fascinated in Halo? Halo is a novel. And novels are real. Novels is not make-believe thing. Every author who write a book, it have some reality behind the information they put together this novel. Whether it's fiction, fantasy, it have some reality mythos behind it, right? So I am the founder of the Grenada of, I should say the Grenada because I want to speak properly, but it's really Grenada Renaissance Party. I am the founder of Grenada Renaissance Party, right? So I decide to be a young politician because they have youth parliament. Let me do the computer. Right now, I want to discuss the Monroe document with all you. I realize there is a breakdown in society. We are lost in time. We are lost in time. Mic check, checking the volume status again. We are lost in time. We are lost in time. The earth is not 2,000 years old. The earth is 5,700 and something years old. Everybody talking about Christianity, right? Everybody talking about, oh, Christ is a Jew. Yeah, Christ is a Jew because he's from the lineage of Judah. He's not an Israel from the line of Benjamin, of Gad, or Dan. Them is Israel. So everybody talking about Christianity and religion, but not knowing we are living in the wrong time. Pastors and priests and bishops who go to theology school, as Dr. Ray Higgins said, big up Dr. Ray Higgins. You say, watch, when he went to religious school, theology school, and the things he learned and the things, he realized these people know the truth, but they've been taught to lie on the oath. Just as how lawyers, some of the lawyers, I will say some of the lawyers and some of all the law enforcement workers lying on the oath, right? And the saddest thing is that all you just cannot see Grenada in this oil long, because the word Grenada is a historical name, right? Grenada just the concept of Grenada, I should say, is not just this tiny island in the South Latin quadrant of the hemisphere. Grenada have a historical place in history. At a wit, I should say, its original name, Granada, Spain. Plus now, ironically, there is a Grenada in Mississippi, United States of America. So, when you look at Grenada, we are subject to experiment. because we are slave descendants. We are the new black slave race. Indoctrination. The Monroe Doctrine. That is a form of negative indoctrination. Right? And I come this morning, right, to call on Caribbean leaders. Let us stand together and formulate a petition to go before the International Court of Justice, for the International Court of Justice to request the United States Congress to abolish the Monroe Doctrine, which is negative indoctrination. So first of all, let me don't waste the time, because time is money and time with no man. The Monroe Doctrine, announced by President James Monroe, right? I wear not cheap reading glasses. I can afford one, but we're not cheap reading glasses. Right? I hope it work. Let's see if I can get. I'm long sighted. Check. Yeah. So yeah, we're discussing the Monroe Doctrine. The Monroe, excuse me. Right? The Monroe Doctrine. Right. Right? Right. The Monroe Doctrine, which I state as negative indoctrination, right? The Monroe Doctrine, announced by President James Monroe in 1823. You see, the 1800s is a very important year in the world history. We have the Bakla Magdala in 1868. We have a lot of important people born in the 1800s. Plus we have the Balfour Declaration, the Scramble for Africa, right? The Berlin Conference, I should say. And then the Berlin Conference, the Bakla Magdala, right? And after that, you have the build up to the First World War, where you got the Balfour Declaration being passed. And then the build up to the Second War, where the First World War was actually created by the Jews, the banking system, for what the Jews did to Germany economically. Yeah, that is hidden history. They don't want Caribbean people to know. So it seems like they are trying to. This thing, this glass is bad. It seems like they are trying to indoctrinate Caribbean people with falsified information. They're trying to rewrite history, especially for Caribbean people, right? But the thing is, they cannot fool Latin Americans. We have to remember the history of Mr. Simon Bolivar. That is another serious piece of history. And in San Fernando, Trinidad, have a statue. So Trinidad should be ashamed. The Trinidad government, present government right now, should be ashamed of themselves. You go in San Fernando, you're seeing the history with Simon Bolivar. So all is still, so what is the use of archiving history when you want to go into archive, right? And change the original context to suit your liking. That don't make sense. That is corruption. Right? So let me see if we can read this thing with these glasses here. So in 1823, right? The Monroe Doctrine was created by President James Monroe, right? Was a US foreign policy framework that stated European powers, yeah, what is stated? That European powers should not intervene with or colonize independent means an independent sovereign nation, right? They forget to put sovereign. Independent nations in the Western Hemisphere, which is this quadrant of the world, the south quadrant of the world, the Western Hemisphere, right? Over 2 centuries, its meaning and application have evolved significantly from a defensive policy to a justification for U.S. intervention in Latin America. So why the hell we have a CARICOM body and these people sit down in their parliament and create a document to invade your sovereign nation under a stupid pretext? They say what? They say, hold on, let me go down here. Protection against what? Recolonization. Hold on. Let me go down more into the document. Because they say now, the document now was evolved. What do you mean the word evolve mean? They change the document. So let me go forward. Let me jump some pages right now. The evolution of the document we go into right now. In the late 19th, 20th century, Roosevelt. Right? Let me go into Roosevelt. How they evolved. 1904. Daddy born 1905. So he stated on his passport. So they say here the evolution of the Monroe document. Evolution and expansion. Late 19th, 20th, 20th century. James, sorry. That phone rings and just throw me off. Sorry. So Roosevelt corollary, right? Let me turn the camera so I can see where I'm reading from. See it here? See what I'm reading from? So Roosevelt corollary, 1904, President Theodore Roosevelt drastically reiterated the doctrine. Which means reiterating? He revised the doctrine. And he looked back and he stressed. Reiteration means that you look back and you stress at certain important points and you look to amend. Right? Reiterate a lot of meaning because reiteration could mean that you want to emphasize on certain key points of the document. You choose on certain key points to talk about, right? So President Theodore Roosevelt drastically reiterated the document as certain, right? He stressed about the document, bring it back up into discussion, right? As certain, the U.S. had the right to act as an international police power. You see, when Bishop was talking about America playing world police, this is the doctrine. Why is the United States doing this thing? That is rogue. You have no authority. You have no jurisdiction over independent sovereign countries. That is rogue. The United Nations, let me tell you something. All these bodies, these people organized is a rogue institutions. So let me go to over now. Roosevelt corollary. Sound like some kind of fancy cooking in some kind of fucked up kitchen. Sorry for the bad word. Politics. Geopolitics. President Theodore Roosevelt drastically reiterated the doctrine, the Monroe Doctrine, indoctrination, right? As certain the U.S. had the right to act as an international police power in the Western Hemisphere to protect its economy and security interests. Right? You're dealing with independent Caribbean nations now who have independence here. They gained independence from British colonial rule. Right. This led to decades of U.S. military intervention in Latin America, countries like Nicaragua, Haiti. Thank you, Haiti and the Dominican. The first place is Haiti. The reason why they put Haiti last is because they want to make all you feel Haiti was last. They go Haiti first and rob the bank and take all the gold and go back to America. That history is there. The United States Marine landed in Haiti first. Haiti was a striving, well-blooming economy. And they went to Haiti and thieved the bank and crashed the economy of Haiti. Them a bring Haiti to the state it is today. Right? And them trying to control that country because they know Haiti bred a lot of fighting strong black people who will fight against this geopolitical doctrine that all are trying to indoctrinate we with. Not all of us have this slave mentality. Right? So in the Cold War application, right? So the United States, during the Cold War, the doctrine was invoked to oppose perceived threats to U.S. interests during the Cold War. Most famously, President John F. Kennedy cited it during the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis to justify a naval quarantine around Cuba. Because you know why? When Fidel Castro came into power, he said, well, look, we go mine, we are oil. Where you feel like United States drilling oil in the Gulf of Mexico, in Cuban waters? Cuba is close to America just as Venezuela to Trinidad. Right? Modern relevance. Going on the page. See it? See it? Watch it here. We're using, is it AI? We're using the AI. We're on Google, eh? So, modern relevance and criticism. But before we go into that, let me go back up the page. Let me get understanding the Monroe document. So, this year, original text and principles. Principalities now, eh? Let me go down to the principalities now. So, I live by the highway, so all excuse me. So, original context and principles, 1823. Right? Sphere of influence. Largely crafted by Secretary of State John Quincy Adams. The doctrine established the Americas and Europe as separate spheres of influence. Right? A sphere is a dome. Right? A sphere is a dome, which you will call a world. Right? The US committed to staying out of European conflicts and not interfering with existing European colonies in the Western Dome Hemisphere, the South Quadrant, the Southern Quadrant, right? So, protect against recolonization. Yeah, watch it here. Protect against recolonization. Let me read it. Protect against recolonization, right? The primary motivation was to prevent European powers, particularly Spain and France, from attempting to recolonize newly independent Latin American nations and to curb Russian territorial ambition along the Pacific coast. Have you had or have you heard any information or history about Russia colonizing any nation in the past? Watch out, these mad people in the America White House, sick and crazy. So, look at it here. We go read it together. Protection against recolonization. The primary motivation was to prevent European powers, particularly Spain and France, from attempting to recolonize newly independent Latin American nations and to curb Russian territorial ambitions along the Pacific coast. These people are crazy. So let we simplify it now. As a Marine says, simplify. Let me dissect it now. As a soldier. You want to talk about recolonization. Eh? Right? You want to talk about recolonization. You want to talk about recolonization and thing, right? You want to talk about recolonization and preventing Spain and France from recolonizing. That is insane. That is the most insane affirmation the US Congress body could contemplate, could fathom. Are they mad? Are they crazy? So who really want to colonize alright? Who really want to colonize or recolonize the Western Hemisphere? Not all the European bastards who say all the United States of America. Look at what all they do to Indians for their own land, which created all the states. The United States came from New Amsterdam. Look what all they do to the Indians. Thief their land and put them on reservation. And say now what? They are uncivilized. That's how they come down in Africa and saying what? We uncivilized because we hardly wearing clothes. But we had science and technology. We had a more advanced calendar than all here. Eh? So I can understand all the Caribbean leaders say all they go to school, all they have education, primary, secondary, tertiary, and higher education. I only went to school in primary school and secondary school. I always see I present my qualification to all on a YouTube video. And the only higher education I had as tertiary was as vocational training skills. With the Imani program, I was an Imani trainee. And I was a YTEP trainee. That's how come I went to train. I'm telling you, I went to train in the police garage as a welder. Yeah. I didn't let me tell you something. When under Tillman Thomas administration, right, and they had the youth training practical program, the YTEP, youth education training program, right? And I signed up as a welder to get my welding level 1 certificate because Ivan came, mash up the school, time CC was a shit. Thank God I could have weld, and I had my little welder, I had a little Clarky 185. I said go to school with my Clarky 185 and taught the class to I hold man hand and teach them to weld in my time and time CC. And Flavian Antoine, the dean, took the credit and still give who he won the certificate without doing a proper exam, final exam. And he still gave me personal work to do. I did it and I never get a grade. Yeah, Flavian Antoine. So I went back, right? I joined the YTEP program at the time when NDC, Uncle Tilly was Prime Minister. And Mr. Django Thomas, right, at the time with Mr. Patrick Simmons, who was spearheading the youth educational training entrepreneurship program. White Tip. You understand? And Mr. Patrick Simmons, right? Django Thomas working in the department under Mr. Patrick Simmons met me out there and say, Stanford, come, Max, say, you would like to go to job train in the police? I say, yeah, but not as a police officer, not as a constable walking the road as a police. You say, no, you're going to train in the garage. I say, well, once I'm doing welding, I good with that. Because it's really my welding level 1 I want. You say, yeah, you're going to get your level 1 welding certificate. You will be doing welding down there too. And other things. I say, yeah. What do you mean? I say, yeah. So you say, well, look, you had to cut your hair. I had her ask. You had to cut your hair and groom up yourself. I say, yes, sir. Sure thing. And I cut my hair. I groom up myself. And I present myself properly and I go to work. But the reality of the situation down there was mechanic and more oxy-fuel welding. And the environment was so poorly, the communication was poor between certain officers, because certain officers felt threatened when they saw me, especially the guys who was working in the body work. I could call him, but the guys who was working in the body work department, they felt threatened. But I didn't come there to take no body work. I just come there to learn, right, and share my experience of what I knew as an oxy-fuel welder and as a stick welder, and learn mechanic. Because I always, as I told Mr. Django Thomas, my dad is a mechanic and that was one of his first in his passport. And I want to follow my father's footsteps. Because my father is my everything, my role model. My life is built around my father. He's my model. He's my hero. Right? So I went down there. 18 months was the timeline, the time span, the time lapse. And I learned a lot. Check, I can mention a lot of good police officers I trained under. Turbo, Sparks, right? Turbo, Sparks, Ali, MacGyver, not forgetting Mr. Richard McDonald, Boxer, yeah, Boxer. I'm telling you, and well as Narayan. Yeah, man, me and Narayan it cool like that. Me and Narayan had a more workman relationship than Taylor. Taylor always quarreling. Showing, I had a problem with Showing with communication, because Showing thought because he did it, but he younger than me, thought he did it, he could have ordered me wrong. But I older than him, he couldn't order me wrong. And the mistake he had made when he tried to boss my transformer, that man tried to boss my own personal thing, you know. And feel he could disrespect me with action of law. But you stupid. That a lawyer, you know, pass everyone ball Stanford like a country bookie. Use a Williams, I a Williams too, you know. And I brave. You understand? I a ram goat, that's what people say. I don't afraid to butt heads. I don't feel my head soft. I just fall on my head when I was 2 years of age on the concrete. Check, I bust my head at 2 years of age, fall from a 4.5 feet height. So, my experience, this is why I do not have a level 1 welder certificate. Right? And this is why all the years, and I always thank God for the Rampersad and Co. for the experience of learning to weld with the industrial rods, the 5P rods, the 5P plus they used to use. I had a shoebox of them, I also threw it in the bin. Yeah. You understand? And 7018, I learned to weld. Actually, I learned to weld on engine driven machine. That's why I could handle the current like that. And I could work my current like that. So, I want to discuss masculinity. Because it seems like our present administration, which is an evolution of the NDC party, them is a bunch of wuss. They have no balls. Bishop would not have to review any data on that request. He will give a straightforward answer. And if you look at the meaning of neutrality, I gave a meaning, a whole dissection and meaning of neutrality. Geopolitics, wasting politics, you call that political commentary. Wasting people time. You go into parliament to make up a yes or no decision. So why we put you there? Why we elect you and put you there? If you can do that on your own. Why you fool us for? We trust in you to make decisions without certain decisions you're supposed to be able to make on your own. And you're supposed, that simple decision, you want to parade Bishop all over the place. You should be on beyond the headlines, taking in calls and getting people view to make up your mind. You don't have to go to parliament. We is a parliament. The public is a parliament. Right? So, I want to speak out against wrong indoctrination. The Monroe Doctrine, and as I say, the Grenada Renaissance Party call it out for what it is. It is wrong indoctrination, and it is a violation of free, independent nations in the Latin America hemisphere. America have no authority in their congressional parliament to decide independent sovereign state fate. We do not need you America's big brother police. If we need your help, we will ask for it, right, as aid. That is wrong. And the United Nations is a false body which was created by the United States to facilitate the rogue indoctrination of the Middle East and the East. And keep up the proxy war with Russia for technology. After the fall of Germany, all they get all the German scientists. All the German tech, all they get. What all they want? All they want, a new slavery, sir? We still have to pay for the visa. If you go into America free, we still have to pay how much $1,000 to go for a visa and still come in your country when all you could just jump a plane and come here free without paying any, going through any immigration like visa and thing. So what all they want? We, the nation of Grenada, refuse. We will not go back into slavery, whether it's physical, economical, psychological. That is wrong. We denounce your Monroe Doctrine, your devilish indoctrination. We are a free, independent nation. You will not recolonize the Caribbean under that mandate. Right? And I'm calling on the continent of Latin America, South America, to stand together with Venezuela in the legacy of Simeon Bolivar. I give a lot of respect to Mr. Bolivar. Bolivar inspired. I bet you Julia Ferrer and Bolivar no Bolivar. Why are we so sell out for temporary success and talking about freedom? Christ Peace Treaty, Jesus Christ. Let me go to the Bible now. The indoctrination of the Bible. Christian indoctrination. We're dealing with indoctrination right now. Doctrine. The Bible warns about false doctrines. Jesus Christ Peace Treaty was his life. Did it bring peace on earth? No. But he paid with his life. What you heard today? Who are they trying to enslave for all these years into this futuristic time? Eh? Who are they trying to enslave? Eh? I will give all your update on the year we're living in. Who are they trying to enslave? What is this? What is this? What is this new indoctrination it coming with? But let we come together and kick that down. Throw down that statue. Because that indoctrination is our next is our next colonization. And that's how they go keep us. We can't help ourselves. We have to depend on them. They don't want us to be independent. They want us to be dependent on them. Eh? Hold on. We're dealing with indoctrination right now. So I go remind you, let me tell you something. All you see, all the CARICOM leaders say all you bright. But I go tell all you something, all you bright dons. There's a thing called bright dons. You have academic mentality, but you do not have common sense and uprightness in mental state. You have a twisted, corrupt mind. Some people, they don't have they don't believe in uprightness. They don't believe in immorality. You understand? So today, Monday, October the 27th, 2025, corresponds to the 5th of Chisvan, 5786 on the Hebrew civil calendar. So, I want to reiterate on indoctrination. Right? And I will single out the calendar now. Let me talk about the calendar. How they plan to keep us in slavery through time with a false calendar. Through a false religion who endorse a false calendar. Right? Everybody give reverence to Israel. Israel right now has become, somewhat of a metaphor. Yeah, a metaphor cliche, I should say. Because on the other hand, you have the real historical Israel. And then you have, on the other hand, you have a make-up Israel. It's like, back in the days in the movie of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the woman watching the mirror, the evil queen, mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? Is it me? And the mirror says, no, there's a next fair maiden in the kingdom named Snow White. So, what I'm getting at, Satan does try to mirror good, which also a mirror is a portal to our next sphere. Right? So, when you look at spirituality, they go down in Africa. Right? But since, I should say, they re-enter back into Africa after they was run out by the Ottomans, by the Muslims. The Muslims run them out of Africa. right? And they take what the crusade, they take what they take. They how come they have the thing, right? They know that the year of the civil calendar, the Israel, the real historical biblical Israel, the real historical Israel of the land, the calendar organized and run a certain way. The month start, the first year of the month is in September. The world begins in the year 31 something. They know that. They know we living in the year 5786. Right? Watch. So, they go back down there when they get a little gunpowder and musket and technology. Shoot their way back down into Africa. Tifa set up people now and say, well, look, you see them here? This here is a new experiment. We go program them and we go breed a new race. Yeah, like animals, livestock. That's what I'm telling you. The creator created human beings as livestock, as to be his good justice servants. You understand? So they use our African spirituality and turn it into a religion. And hide the basic fundamental teachings and writings of the ancient texts. You see what I tell you about it? See what I put about the book of Revelation? It's an allegory. I always knew that. I always knew the book of Revelation was not canon. It's an allegory which explains their system. They know the system. They know the system will fall because the book of Revelation corresponds to the time of the 1800s. That is why they tie up the Ethiopian monarch head for that to go on with him. They tie up Haile Selassie head in England. When Haile Selassie came back to his people, he was not the man he was. He was not. He was not the man he was. That is why Haile Miriam did him that. Did that. You have mass student protests against you in your country. You say you was a king, a righteous king. You're making war with your neighbors. You have elders or like Haile Georges. And not the Georges spelled in the English way. I'm talking about the Georges spelled in the Ethiopian way. Telling the king that what he doing is wrong. And the king still forcing him to do the wrong. So whatever the queen do with he, you see, you eat off of you eat bread of Babylon and drink the wine of wickedness. That's why you know you couldn't accept being godlike when man was giving you that reverence. You denounce it because you know what you're dealing with. You're eating chicken, you're eating pork. You're dealing with all kind of shippiness in behind closed doors. You check, that is why the monarch, the Ethiopian monarchy fall. But the Ethiopian monarchy don't fall because the bloodline, they don't kill the bloodline. They just take a king off of the throne. But the throne is forever there. The bloodline is there. You check what I say? So world domination under falsified doctrine by a state alliance mystery Babylon. We cannot let the Americans sit down in their parliament, which they call Congress, and decide independent nations' future because we doing trade with them. That is wrong. So you know what I'm saying? That is Roman. That is Roman mentality. That is what the Romans use to conquer Jerusalem and invade Jerusalem and subdue the land. That doctrine of playing world police and protectorate and this and that. You check. If we Caribbean nation implement visa for the United States and its citizens, Eh? And I find that is a good thought. Because we don't have to spend so much of goddamn money to go through visa, endorsement, and all this screening just to go to America to see a family and for like a holiday. But them to just jump a plane and pay money, jump a plane and come down here and see however long they want. Eh? That is wrong. So, I'm calling on people with morality and believe in uprightness. Let we come together. Africa unite. Right? Let we come together as a body, as I say, independent sovereign nations. Some of y'all go into politics for the wrong thing. Going to fill all your pocket with money. And do pay attention to the people needs, the nation needs. This is why the Green Renaissance Party came up with a whole charter to reform. Are you looking at reform right now? Right? All the Eastern Central Caribbean Bank, reform. The way how we doing business with the ECCB, reform. I have a charter to present to Parliament to reform our operations with the ECCB. And I also have a charter to present to Parliament to reform the Grenada Development Bank, to reconstruct it in the proper way through reform, how it's supposed to be and operate, to help the people of the country. Not just one set of people alone are getting help here. You have no work. You're going online and see Grenada into oil exploration, Grenada into this, Grenada into that. But when you come on island, you find Grenada look like we doing any oil exploration? Come in Grenada and see, you find Grenada look like you see any signs of we have any ship outside doing any oil exploration? The team who doing oil exploration outside there, why don't they come and introduce themselves? Why the government don't come and introduce the blood clot team who go outside there and do looking for the oil for us? Why the government don't come and introduce the blood clot Ocean Gate Nigeria oil and gas team who go outside there? But at the same time, seeing is believing, because faith is believing in the unseen, So if you believe in what you can't see, they go rob you of bumbo clot. Because when you see, when you put your hope so high and you see what you get, that's the oldest trick in the book. That's the oldest magic trick in the book. Having people believe in what they don't see, like buying cat and bag thing. Faith is cat and bag. I've been honest with all you. Having faith is cat and bag. F-A-I-T-H. I cat and bag. I believe in F-A-T-E. Because I shape my destiny. God give me the willpower to shape my future. That is the power He gave us individually to create our own destiny at our will and to lay down at our will. So this cat and bag shit all they use in the religion is a false indoctrination. That is why they're using all this shit and feel like it come and enslave us now in with technicality. And talk about your technical report. You have to what technical report you have to review, sir? What you have to do? You have to survey the land to tell them no. If you can make that decision on your own, you are not needed as Prime Minister. You and your cabinet. All is no use to the country. Right? If you cannot be a man, tonight is Monday. If you cannot be a man and come on beyond the headlines and say, well, look, green area people, let me discuss things, help me make up my mind, and take the people advice, to make that decision, you're not a gentleman. You're not the man for there. You're not. You understand? All of you, all of in that NDC party. And I want to talk about the movement. The Greener Renaissance Party would like to know what is the movement really movement scene. What you stand for? What you stand for, sir? Long I watching you. And you know me very well. I'm straightforward, very outspoken. Right? Lawyers cannot be and will not be, I should say, lawyers are not good generals and admirals, because all they deal with a lot of bureaucracy for all your own personal profit. And I'm telling you, most of all the lawyers today, all is not the Perry Mason style lawyer. All looking for all the personal profit. All looking for just settlement and uprightness. All looking for whatever the quote, it is a business, I should say. You understand? Jail is a business. Crime is a business. It have too much lawyers in politics. That is why the country is like that. Or they're making a business out of the underdeveloped state of the state. Right? And if all keep it so, my generation will get old and we will achieve nothing, because all your sectarianism choose out who should advance and who should stay back. Yeah. So I tell all you personally, all it not ready yet. Just as I told Francis Alexis on the program, he not ready yet. Up to now, all they can present the new oath of allegiance for the country. Up to now. I took the pledge. Let me tell you something. There is nothing in this world as can't. Right? But the most important thing with there is nothing can be done is doing the right thing. Because you can do anything in this world with your will. The most important thing is doing the right thing. Be honest with you, there's nothing in this world people cannot do. The most important thing is doing the right thing. I took the pledge and reconstruct it. Just take out certain words and put swear, and voila, you have an oath of allegiance. But you want to waste people time and state assets to go into parliament, right? To discuss certain things whereby your cabinet could make up that decision on their own in benefit of the people through morality and uprightness, based on that doctrine, morality and uprightness, doing what is right. Right? So, seem like my house is getting full. I've almost an hour, or we only have 60 minutes. So, I pray South America understand what time it is. We are 5,000. The year is 5786. Yeah. The year is 5786. The world is 5,786 years old. You check, you see how they plant it. You see the Gregorian calendar? That's the slave calendar. The Bible was created for the slaveries. You know why they want to recolonize South America? Because they had the colony there first. But they don't know. Simeon Bolivar liberate New Granada. Yeah, New Granada. Simeon Bolivar liberate New Grenada. You understand? New Grenada. So I have an hour here. So my people of Grenada, and as they say, the Western Hemisphere, to my Cuban friends, I don't forget all that. Grenada one day, Grenada will repay Cuba for all its greatness it have done for Grenada. Grenada will help build Cuba, right? For all the help Cuba has helped us building ourselves. It's time for us to give back to Cuba instead of take from Cuba right now. Right? I pray the colonies, the clans of South America, the nations of South America come together in the legacy of our founding liberator father, Mr. Simon Bolivar. Yeah, Simon Bolivar fought for the Caribbean liberation. Being honest with all, even up to Haiti. Right? So, everybody, guidance on the road, and bless the love. I see everything, the system have they don't come to work this morning. I try to go and see my lawyer, but there's something going on. So, let me see what's going on, right? So, as I say, this is no rocket science. We've been going to the universe long before that. Even the sea under the ocean is a universe for itself. So, to my people of Grenada and the South Quadrant, peace and love, man. Peace and love, and stay strong in our Heavenly Father, Mother, and too. Yeah, man, and bless everybody. Guidance and protection. Everybody have a stay blessed day and a stay blessed week. So this is DJ Roddy. I am Fabrication Welding, the Green Renaissance Party. Green Renaissance Party. So big up on yourself, right? Right now we are full house. So later. Ciao. Okay. You know I can end the live for somebody doing this thing. I try so I can end this live, yeah. You know, for somebody doing a live on this thing.